see the possibility of a bigger future, if you have dreams of making things happen, if you have hope for creating a better world, bring it to Butler University. Because this is where learning becomes experiencing and doing becomes accomplishing. Where intellect is recognized, talent is refined, aspirations are realized, and every bit of your potential is unleashed.
Welcome, everybody, to the EGF Power Series Valorant Edition. My name is Wes Rambo. I'm joined by Janiro. We're going to bring you through some college university Valorant and the Prelim 1 series that's been going on for the last week or so. And yeah, we got some exciting stuff coming up. Janiro, how you doing? Welcome back to North American Valorant.
Thank you. I took a plane and I landed in North America once again. Absolute pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for having me. And looking forward to finding out more about the collegiate NA scene, specifically in Valorant. Absolutely incredible game. And I have heard you guys talk a lot about the collegiate scene. So really looking forward to the next game. And I just want to see what the teams are going to be able to bring out today and maybe just blow our socks off.
Yeah, that's what we're hoping for. What we're always hoping for. Today, for our match that we're featuring on stream here at Official EGF 3 is going to be Butler Club up against Siena Saints. Now, these two teams, I'll start right off the bat by saying they were not at the December tournament that we had, that EGF had last year, at the end of last year. So these teams, the only info we have on them is from the group stage. So it's something that we've been talking about off stream already, Janiro, is how little we have to go on. The two of us being new to the EGF scene and, relatively new to this circuit of NA Valorant, but also kind of, these two teams are brand new to the tournament as well. So what we have to go on is, their past, their history of the of the group stage, but also we've got, we got games to watch, and so that's what we'll be using to do most of our analysis. We are ready to check out the maps for Butler Club and Siena Saints right here on your screen. So we start off with Butler banning Breeze, then Siena bans Fracture. So Bind is the pick from Butler for our first map. Then we're moving on to Icebox, Siena's pick, and finally ending up on Ascent after Butler takes out Split. So Bind and Icebox and Ascent. These are, these maps are pretty tried and true, Janiro. The two of us have cast them together. Bind I'm very excited for, though, because, with the amount of limitation that Bind puts on you, I think there's a lot of innovation that can be found.
Yeah, and speaking of the maps that we're looking at today, I'm really looking forward to Icebox as well. So, but that's something that we're going to be talking about next. Looking at Bind, seeing the race pick, something that I am very much expecting to see, specifically on Bind. Her pain shells just give so much ability to clear as much space as possible before getting onto site. You have like those narrow corridors that you really want to clear, specifically in showers when you're going in on site, but also in hookah. You want to make sure that you can throw a nade and just that no one is hiding behind the box with a judge or a shorty, which is something that people absolutely love to do. Jet pick, very standard to duelist comp coming in. You just want to make sure that Jet can dash onto that side. Now, the thing that I do want to come back to with Raze in terms of being played on Bind, something that I've been seeing a lot in the EMEA scene is that she will fly out of hookah onto the back of the site, and then as everyone is trying to shoot the Raze down because of the movement that's coming through with the showstopper and the satchels, the distraction just allows the rest of the team to full-on rush onto that site. And, well, because no one's looking, you can just click their heads easy. There's no firing back. You're not going to lose that. So really going to be an exciting game, specifically in terms of those agent picks. I think from the side of Butler University, Reyna, I'm not entirely happy to see the Reyna here. Like, Reyna's a great agent, but in terms of the amount of utility that they do bring to the team, unless you're going to be popping off There is a little, there's something that's going to be holding you back. I much prefer the Jet. A lot of mobility, he's specifically getting through that util. But then when you're looking at the comp of Siena, there isn't that much util. I don't really see a Sage that's going to wall you off. There is the Sova that's going to be able to collect those early information for both teams. I think that's really, really crucial. I think if I didn't see a Sova here, I would be really disappointed. But the Chamber pick, that is something that I think, again, is quite useful in the side of Siena. So specifically for your economy, it's just a great agent to have. But also the util that's coming through, watching out for those flanks and just making sure that no one's running up from the back, because we see that very often in such a small map like Bind.
Yeah, we absolutely do, as we already see attackers heading towards that A area. We saw the first pick, and there you go. That's what you need to do with the Reyna. If you're going to pick it, you need to get those frags. Nikki managing to trade some folks out. Nikki with a couple of frags, and it's going to be Osiu to take out Smiley to end off. And we got a 1-0. And I believe, just to clear everything up, I believe it's Siena on defender's side. So we'll get that switched around as soon as we can. And it's going to be Butler starting over on the attack. So that's Siena going up 1-0 here in this first map.
So I wanted to say that was the fastest round in the West, but we're not actually in EU West. But
yeah,
you know what? That was a really quick round. But in terms of pistol rounds, you don't want to focus on it too much. It's usually people just rushing down one site. Other team will take a gamble in terms of what side it's going to be a rush, just to make sure that there's no numbers advantage. But Aldrin and the Jet Dash is coming in, but Loki is already ready with that Spectre. Taps one head. He knows there's multiple people coming. He gets another. This misses out. Dodging those pain shells, absolutely beautiful stuff. Osiu with the pick on Icy. Already the numbers advantage is huge from the side of Siena. They got those Spectres as well coming in, and that's just the increased firepower that they have in this round. Just farm those eco kills. Let's go. But the shock dart gets Smile, and you're just gonna have to hold on for dear life. And
yeah,
that is flawless.
Such a stalwart defense here, and I believe Butler ended up buying that round. You saw some Spectres in hand, and so that's going to be Siena going up 2-0. Yeah, you can see so little money left on the side of Butler after having forced up. So they are not going to be happy with that, and that's two really fast A rounds in a row, Janiro, that completely gets shut down by Siena. Totally strong on the defense in terms of the Reyna having to get those kills. We already, put the spotlight on that a little bit, but it's Nikki coming in with the Sova utility and the gunplay to defend. This time, the focus goes over towards B, and it looks like a little bit more of a passive hold this time from Siena.
Looking forward to see how this is going to go. Their economy in a little bit of shambles, if we're being completely honest, forcing on that last round. It's a huge bargain that you take. You were hoping that you can capitalize off it, and that didn't work. Headhunter is going to come out for Icy. Doesn't initially connect with anyone, but again, using these chamber abilities, saving so much for your eco, it's just incredible to see. It's looking like a hard hit onto the B side. Smile gets the first, Gray and Loki right with the trade. Icy picking up another, but Loki makes it a 2K. Nikki with the final pick, and Icy just obliterating everybody with the Headhunter. I guess that's why it's called the Headhunter, because he's out here hunting people's heads. But Spike on top doesn't really know where the last player is hiding. Gonna look to get that plant out. Osiu just wants him to plant so that he can catch him while he is off guard, and that's exactly what he does. Beautiful run coming through from Siena, and I would say expected in terms of the fact that they had better guns, and just really well done.
Yeah, good timing there by Osiu right at the end. It was a nice job to wait just until that spike was finished being planted. That's just knowing the timings, having experience in those clutch 1v1 situations. So good job by Osiu there. Nikki still holding strong. It was a good defense, and like I said, a little bit more passive this time, letting Butler a little bit further out onto B site than they had been on A. But Butler still gets shut down. They still continue to get traded out. Even with Icy's heroics, still did not manage to pull that one back on the attack. So Butler definitely needs to get a little bit more cautious and a little bit more thoughtful about what they're doing, and that looks like what they're doing so far. Wall up goes, and actually they do sneak into A once again. This time Smiley to try to clear out U-Haul instead of just running in, and that's going to be Firsty using the distraction, taking out that Reyna. Icy as well finding the pick. That gives them access to the site.
Also on a better buy in terms of Butler. Pango with the paint shells picking up Odin. He's positioned in a really solid spot. Dicey getting Gray and Pango with the trade coming through. A couple of clicks coming through from Nikki who doesn't initially connect, and Icy picks up another, and Smiley picks the final player from the side of Siena, and that is the first round on the board for Butler.
First gun round goes to Butler. So yeah, very nice job for them to, they still use a fast hit, Janiro. It's one and done so far. The same strategy every round pretty much, but this time they get it done with the guns. And so nice work there by Butler, especially finding those opening picks. I like the killer instinct from Firsty there on the Jet, rushing in right off the back of the Owl drone. That's a really nice way to use that Sova utility, is use it as sort of your entry fragger, bait that drone so that you can find an advantage over your opponent. Now Shorty's up, and it's going to be Nikki sitting up on top of the wall with the Shorty, sending the Owl drone out. They're going to know that Sova is in the area, but will they expect this shotgun when they run in is going to be the question. Icy already finds a pick on the other side, but Hookah is definitely the place to watch, except low-key, great work trying to find that flank, but nothing to be found whatsoever. Low-key was so close up, and it's only going to be Aussie remaining in a 1 versus 5 as Butler start to mount their comeback in the early rounds of this half. A flawless round on attack. Butler are back with a vengeance now.
Butler back with a vengeance, winning that second gun round coming through, although Siena was on a bit of a worse buy. I do want to mention that from the side of Butler in terms of the attack, it's just W key. They're just pressing those W keys. They've done that a couple of rounds in a row. They come into this round and they decide to hold their horses for just a little, and they manage to catch Loki off on guard when he's on flank. Beautiful first pick, giving them a lot of access to that A site, and once again, it's where they head to. I feel like Siena not adopting accordingly. They still have 2 players on B, and again, we're seeing that 5-man shove onto that A side. Hunter's Fury is going to be popped, and Hunter's Fury is going to be countered. Initially, a couple attacks coming through, but is it enough? Nikki doesn't initially stick anything, but Smiley taking him right out. Loki behind him, getting the pick off on Icy. Equal numbers in terms of players for Bird Team. And Aussie, gonna play Chessmaster, but as he's in Astral form, he gets taken out by the paint shells from Force. And that is another man down for Siena. Looking a little difficult, but Loki popped that Empress, getting that first pick, healing, using his dismiss, but it doesn't matter because he dismissed in the wide open, and Feisty takes him right out. Gray holding that corner, but it's not enough. Feisty just with that better aim or the better gaming chair. I guess we never know. And Odin finishing off the round with picking up Banger, and this is another win on the board for Butler, securing another round. It's 3-3. They came in looking a little shaky, but it's looking pretty good.
Yeah, Butler did get picked at the beginning. I love that showdown between the two Sovas, just Hunter's Fury. Nobody's taken out. Nobody's, gonna cancel that spell. They're both just staring each other down, playing chicken. It's Smiley coming out with the advantage there, and Butler end up equalizing sort of off the back of that. Now, low key, I want to come back to the Reyna one more time, as it is, a gamble to pick that over something like the Jet, giving up that mobility. But we'll talk about that later, as Firsty coming in with the headshot. Gray cannot hold, and Siena, I'll remind you, are on a save this time, as they were not able to stabilize that economy. So Butler, get that pick. I like this. This is different than what Butler have been doing, but it shows a little bit of depth, Janiro, because they get the pick, they back off. Icy's already way far up in A, and Icy is creating havoc for the rotators. There comes the satchel, and Icy gets both somehow. What more can he do? Looking for more, as Nikki is the last player remaining, shaking in their boots. Firsty to finish. Flawless once again from Butler.
So I feel like there is an agreement between Butler University and that A site. It's literally the only site so far that they have decided to go for. They went to the B site a couple of times and it just didn't work out for them. Yeah. So they just keep hammering down on A. Tried an initial fake onto B. They lured all the members from the side of Siena onto that B side. This is like the preconditioning coming through once you've been going through the same thing over and over again, where 5 men just rush onto your side and you're like, oh, wait, what is this? And they're like, you know what, guys, we're going to be ready for you. But Butler pulls the Uno reverse card and it's like, you thought this is actually a fake. They run back to A, get some beautiful picks, as Icy created so much space for his team onto that site. And just beautiful all in all, getting a nice couple of headshots. And once again, the paint shells coming through to clear lamps. Such a beautiful tool and just great util as well from the team. And by Firsty doesn't get that first pick. Seiyu takes him out. getting a numbers advantage for his team, and Pango lurking wants to take them out, but those Nebulas just blocking the site, making it that much more difficult to gain space. Cosmic Divide already being invested, as well as Duel of Force taken out. Icy, though, popping off once again. Ice in his veins, and he's just making sure that he can equalize it for his team. He's trying to get another, but it doesn't work. Gray with the better aim as Smiley taking him out. Seer already 2K'd so far this round. Pango takes the other. Pango takes the final member. That's 3 members standing from Siena. The fuse is gonna come through comfortably.
Yeah, Siena just played contact on the retake. You saw even that peek that went into U-Haul against Firsty took them down. Icy as well went down to a contact peek, and Siena just relies on the gunplay, the firepower that round in order to get the edge over Butler. Giving up the site this time to the aggressive hits, Janiro. I like the adjustment there from Siena, backing off, not trying to take those initial fights where Butler have the element of surprise, the peeker's advantage. They want to get that back for themselves, and so Siena feeling comfortable on attack, even on the defensive side. I like that. I like the strategy coming in from them, and it kind of works with the way they've designed their composition here with the Reyna and the Rays. But we will see what continues to happen, because Butler, you know, I just get the feeling they haven't expended their bag of tricks just yet, but first he has no chance on the peak into B long. That's going to be low-key continuing to shine here on this Reyna.
I said initially that Reyna, unless you're going to decide to completely pop off, it's a bit of a interesting pick, but Loki making it work, and Pango is sick and tired of Butlers and their mind games. Takes out Icy initially. Erden taking off Loki. I guess Butler in that regard is also tired of Loki and him just absolutely popping off these games so far. They get spotted by the drone. Force and Odin both one apiece. And it's now a 3v2 as Butler is looking to close this round. But Siena is not done just yet. They left a spike outside B. They have to go collect it. But it looks like Siena is aware of this. They can hear the fuse, and Seer gets one. You can hear Odin as well with the rotation. I'm pretty sure did not press shift. And this is why you always press shift, guys. But he's going to try and run up right behind him. It seems like Oseyu is aware. Maybe not. He has his knife out. Why would you do that? And also you taking that spike down, 30 seconds on the clock, and it's a 1v2. Gonna have to make it work. Smiley getting pinched from both angles.
Yeah, Smiley now trying to find a way out of this sticky situation, and no chance. There's Pango, and Oseyu just absolutely broke that round open for Siena. Such great forward positioning from the Astra, going out of hookah and catching those rotators once they realized the spike had been left back behind. And I don't mind leaving the spike behind. Let me be clear, that's totally fine to do, but you gotta make sure you are covered if you manage to do that, because I like they get control of the site, they play it carefully, they end in a 3v2, but they don't properly check. And if you were listening to Ravishing on the cast last night on Nights, you know you got to check your corners, and so that's what Butler were not able to do in this round. Oseyu manages to punish them for it. It's going to be 5-4 as Siena takes the lead.
And that is Loki once again popping off this time with that operator. Cosmic Divide has been invested as well as a showstopper Force taking out Oseyu, making it a little bit of more difficult from the side of Butler to get into. And that's another showstopper being invested firstly with that operator taking out Pango right as he was ready to jump into his face. Force already so much space gained, and as he takes his knife out for absolutely no reason, Nikki guns him down, making this a 2v3. Aldron has been invested. They want to try and check out for as many players as they can. They want to make sure they don't run into anything, but it's operator against operator, and Loki, although missing that shot, does a little bit of damage to Fossey. Fossey's gonna have to back off. It's a 3v2, and they want to plant on B side. They're absolutely done with A. Not something they're looking to invest in. As the spike is planted, Siena now has to scramble and to play that retake, but Butler's already in perfect post-plant positions. They got those operators, they got those nebulas down, and they're looking for blood. They want this round. They want to make it a 5-5 in terms of scoreline.
Yeah, they want to equalize, and they're in a very, very nice position to do so. Firsty is the only player who's is struggling a little bit on terms of HP, so that's going to be something to watch out for. It peeks out. Loki does take out Firsty with the headshot, but they still have a long way to go as they work their way onto the site in the 2 versus 2. It's a wide open plant, and there comes Smiley and Odin coming through in the post plant. No problem at all. That's going to be 5-5, as you said. The equalization. These two teams are just trading blows, Janiro. Very evenly matched here.
Yeah, and Something we spoke about coming into this initially. We were like, okay, how equally matched are these games going to be? We don't really know much about these teams. They're new teams. We're new casters. Everything's new. And they're proving that they both belong here. They really want this win. They want to get that seeding for the qualifier, if I'm correct. And they just want to make sure that they don't lose any rounds. Both teams, I would say, very equally matched in terms of gun power and in terms of strategy. But Butler so far really coming out with those press W. Hunter's Fury being invested and looking for those initial tags, but as he does so, Odin takes out Pango, making it just that much more difficult. Also here with that crosshair placement, gets one, gets two. Cosmic Divide online and invest that he wants to keep them off for as long as possible, giving his team as much time to rotate. But Odin is like, okay guys, see ya later. We're just gonna go back to B site.
Take out the Sage Wall, get onto the site, no problem. The res comes through, and so it's actually going to be a 5 versus 3 retake as Siena comes in to try to get this B bomb site back under control here. Icy playing forward once again. Icy keeps doing this, playing forward, gathering space, gathering information. What can he find past this nebula right here? So much could be gained. Icy coming in with 1. Icy trying to find 2. Smiley coming out, and it's Icy for 3. That was an incredible 3 versus 5 hold from Butler, and they get the 6th round.
That was perfect crosshair placement, or you can say that was an oopsie from the side of Siena where they just ran into his crosshair. It really depends how you want to place it, but that was incredible. Icy out for blood, ice in his veins. He kept a cool head. He was able to get those 3K, and he said, yo, what's up, guys? I am here. This is my hometown. This is my map, and I'm going to make sure to take it home because I need that advantage. And to be honest, I have a lot of respect for that.
Yeah, I love what Icy's doing so far, playing so far forward. Like we said already, you know, just getting so much value on this chamber right now, and just so confident in those, in the ability to hit those shots, right? That's something you've got to have if you're going to have this play style where you're getting up in your opponent's face. In this case, it just works so well, and that's going to be Siena being very, very cautious the next time they're going around corners and through smokes. Gray now has a lot to do here. Finds one through the smoke, actually, and Gray gets another one. That's an incredible little two-piece from Gray as they put themselves back into a 5 versus 3. It's Butler now once again in a 3 versus 5 post-plant situation with 4's 36 HP in a lot of trouble here as Siena start to collapse forward. Low-key starts it off. Odin to trade. Odin to get 2, but now they're going to continue moving on towards the site, and it's only Odin remaining. Needs an incredible play here to get anything done.
And we've seen these teams going head to head. They really want to make sure that it stays an equal
Stick.
But the stick is going to come through, and pros don't fake. Odin does manage to get one, almost getting that 3rd, but it's a 6-6. It's an equal scoreline going into the next half, and we mentioned a little bit how Siena seemed to be losing steam, but they just flipped that switch, and they're coming right back, hungry for that spot. And both teams so far putting up quite the impressive performance. I do want to say that I am an absolute big fan of pressing those W key strategies.
Yeah, absolutely. It was, you know, Butler just continuing to go over and over again, fast in. But these two teams are just trading haymakers. I don't know if anybody strung more than 2 rounds together that entire first half. So, yeah, definitely a bloodbath coming in here. Nobody's taking their foot off the gas at this point as we go into the second half. These two teams play in this single elimination bracket. They haven't given us any time, Janiro, to talk about the format or anything like that because Butler just want to go in. They don't want us to give any context at all. But we will say that they are playing a single elimination best of 3 here, and this tournament does give them potential allowance to skip the group stage in the final tournament, which will be the 4th of 4 that are coming up over the next little while. Low-key, starting it off though, Siena College now in a 5 versus 4. Odin to trade, but Odin's in trouble. Pango coming in to trade that one, and it's going to be the advantage for the attackers. Siena move towards A.
Cosmic The gravity well is also being invested here. They just want to make a little bit of distortion. Stage barrier orb has been put up. They want to make sure that the defuse is just so much more difficult. They have to either wrap around or fight and hook up. But once you have that shorty, or you get the right click onto that classic, it might be nerfed for all of us, but it's not nerfed for Force. He gets to 2k, and the icy, what was that on the headshot coming through? Smile right back at him, and they're gonna be managing to get the defuse, winning another pistol round. If I'm correct, Siena so far, Siena won the first pistol round, and this is the second pistol round that's going in favor for Butler. So teams equally matched. Usually they say that if you win both pistol rounds, it's a guaranteed W, but Butler just made sure that that is not going to be the case. Both teams are still gonna have to fight it out.
Yeah, and I have to say, even though it's been very even, I am favoring Butler a little bit. I think that they've got some serious pop-off potential going on. Low Key is definitely doing a lot of the heavy lifting in terms of fragging. Even though you see down the scoreboard, it looks pretty even. OCU has been great as well, but they slowed down in terms of the fragging department later on in the half, the likes of Pango and Nikki. So Siena definitely needs to pick it up in that respect, while Butler, they just seem to be going further and further ahead. They just seem to be ramping up and getting that momentum. Now they need to find a little bit of consistency here as Fours gets their way right out of Hookah. Gets cleared out. Firsty, what are you doing right now? Firsty with the no-scope, trying to find more, peeking out, doesn't get anything from Gray, but it's Odin through the teleporter and Fours to finish, and that was just nuts.
I don't think anyone had initially expected for Butler to be pushing out that aggressively from the A side onto the B side. That was a beautiful flank being invested from Firsty. For Firsty, he got that first pick whilst also was in Astroform. Now, unfortunately, if you are in Astroform, you are the literal definition of getting caught with your pants down, because there is absolutely nothing that you can do if they start shooting at you. So beautiful pick coming through from Firsty, opening up that board, and once he was able to give his team the rest of the information that every other player was huddling towards Hookah, the team just took the teleporter and everybody just flying out, and it was just an absolute bloodbath coming through, working in favor for Butler. But Nikki here out aiming Firsty with that Phantom, gets him and gets the Owl Drone out, looking to pick out more members from the side of Butler. Wants to make sure that they keep this equal. They're now 2 rounds behind. We haven't seen this just yet. So far it's been a give one, take one. Headhunter being invested, and the trademark has been activated. They know that they're coming. Icy going towards Showers, but it doesn't matter because not only does Pango have a Vandal, he also has a Boom Bottom. They're just making it work. Paint Shells being invested, doing a little bit of initial damage, and Odin, as he swings out, takes Nikki, but Gray and Loki both take one apiece. It's now one player standing with that judge. Smiley has to make this work, and they're absolutely ready for him as they move into post-plant positions. And Smiley's gonna have to make a decision here. Does he want to go? His recon bolt has already been destroyed. Something that you know, do you want to get that judge? Do you want to let it go? Do you want to keep it for next round? Do you want to play with it in Hookah? What is the plan, Smiley? As for now, it looks like he is deciding himself. He's making up his mind as we speak, and all players from Siena are ready for him to swing out. The question is he going to? Find out on the next episode.
Yeah, you will see, you know, sneak preview, cliffhanger coming in, but there's no way, right? You cannot beat this with a judge. All chat's going off right now. And yeah, it's Smiley, like, obviously cannot go for that. There's way too many long angles to clear, so gonna hold on to that judge for the next round. Butler still in the lead, but still we see neither team able to string rounds together. Only 2 in a row this time for Butler, as Siena continuing to pressure them low-key, continuing to find form on this first map here, the first game of the day for us in any case. And you saw at the beginning of that round, you saw at the beginning of that round Firsty coming through trying to play aggressive, but actually was punished that time. So that's something to keep an eye out for if Siena start managing to adjust.
Do you know what it means that Butler is able to get 2 rounds? That means that Siena is now going to get 2 rounds, and then we're going to be to 9 and 8, and then Butler is going to get 2 rounds, and it's just going to be like a never-ending cycle of round after round, and we're just going to be here waiting for one of the teams to get that W, one of the teams to slip up. Paint Shells already being thrown out, as well as those shock darts. They really don't want to have Siena push onto their side. Butler is like, guys, I don't want no smoke, and I see takes out Loki, and with that pick being taken, Siena decides to go to a different site because it looks like B is too heavily contested. They don't want to take those fights. They don't want to lose any more players. The judge coming through from Smiley once again. Oh, come on. He saved it last round. Why don't you guys just give him a gun? That is disrespectful to say the least, but look at Butler's players. One of them going on an absolute trip, and he's going to come with that flank. The question here is any of the players from Butler, is any of the players from Siena going to be able to spot him out? And Odie already gets one, doesn't get the second as Gray trays him out right away. But look at how far
here we go.
These players are. Force gets one, but there's still the imminent threat. Last player standing is Force, and it doesn't even matter. They don't even need him. Rusty doesn't have to come for it because the team already got it. They got it under control, and he just went on a little trip to Narnia. Didn't find the closet door, but you know what? At least he came back to A-side.
Firsty shows up and is like, I ran all that way for nothing? Come on. Leave me a kill or two. But in the end, you can't complain too much because the round does go in favor of Butler once again. 9-7 the score. It's 4 rounds away in terms of Butler getting one map ahead here, and they are going to continue to try to do so on the defensive side. Siena now on the attack. They've been much more passive, we have to say, than Butler was, where they're definitely not rushing into every single round. But Siena just don't seem to be able to find much map control as a result, almost the antithesis of what they were seeing. And here comes Firsty, speaking of map control, going way aggressive and finding a kill on the flank. It's going to be Smiley remaining, and now they are against the Eco, so not too much to glean from this round, but it is going to be OCU remaining, still hanging on to that judge, that Eco judge here. And even just to survive this would be a miracle for OCU.
A judge, 57 HP, a miracle, a dream, hopes and dreams coming through from OCU. He wants to get the lead, but it's looking like Butler is going to secure those double digits, even though the rest of the team is really low. And as I say that, OCU gets the first, a couple of warning shots being fired, and he gets the second.
Yeah, the 2 players are low.
He's now going to get that Phantom. The 2 players are incredibly low, still 40 seconds on the clock, and he's 17 HP. He gets to pick up on Feisty. The operator shot does not connect. Now the Cosmic Divide is going to get invested. It's a 1v1. Both players incredibly low HP, and he misses as Force takes him out. That was too close for comfort.
Way too close. Butler getting a little antsy there, giving a bunch of 1v1s up and leaving their 2 low HP members. Nice comms to have the classic out and know that the right click would do the job. So in the end, they make the right play. But yeah, Butler almost threw away a very, very free round in that situation. So, has to be said, nice try by OCU, who goes up to the top of the scoreboard there alongside Loki. But Butler continue their win streak, maybe the longest we've seen in this map so far. Firsty going up aggressive once again. They just don't stop, and Firsty doesn't stop hitting right now. Smiley as well with the kill coming through, and Firsty going to continue to hold this angle. They back off for the attackers 3 versus 4 situation. They go all the way to B long, and it's a nice call because it's only going to be 1 player on the defense. Butler slow to rotate, and we'll see if they manage to get this. Smiley needs to peek out at the right timing. Will spot one. Smiley tries to get one and gets a bunch of damage on OCU, but they are going to push towards B. That will signal the rotate. Butler is ready for this push.
Force already hoarding angle, but it doesn't matter because Loki is quicker. He gets the second. Smiley trades him out. Nikki gets Smiley, and now it's a 1v2. Low HP for both players on Siena. Plant is gonna go down, and it's gonna be Odin once again in that clutch scenario. He almost did it last time. It was a 1v3, so this time he might actually be able to do it because it's a 1v2, and both players are incredibly low. Cosmic Divide is also available. Could push for those 1v1s, but Siena just doesn't want to give him those peaks. They don't want to give him the advantage. They don't want to give him those 1v1s, and a couple of Nebulas coming through trying to block that vision. He's gonna have to go now or never if he still wants to go for that defuse. He's gonna try and get a pick, but Ossier taking him out with 27 HP, and that is another win in the round, in the bag for Siena, closing that gap just a bit more. Still not into double digits, but it's looking good.
Yeah, definitely better from Siena in that situation. They were able to shut down Butler's aggression, in particular Firsty, who's creating so much chaos up that A short position, going up there with the op, and did manage to find the pick. But in the end, when they managed to hit B, even with getting caught, it was low key. You've got to shout out, right? Getting those 2 entry picks, just straight up contact. Lovely gunplay there from low key to manage to find those kills and get them access to the site. There's Icy, misses the shot. Rendezvous back behind the site and calls out the A presence. That's going to cause Siena actually to back off, but they might be running in to Force, who's pushing up very aggressively, trying to give them a taste of their own medicine, Janiro. What can Force find here right around the corner? Hearing the footsteps, hearing the gunshots. 1 kill found. Force gets called out. Force pulls out the showstopper. 1 more comes in. Force tries to find a third. OCU takes it out, but the damage is done. Butler in a 4 versus 3.
Feisty was there for backup to Force a little bit too late, but it doesn't matter because he has a spike. Gravity Well is going to be in front as well as the Saint Shell's coming out. Then Smile gets 1, Feisty gets another, and it's 1 enemy remaining. Pango has a heck of a job in front of him. 4 players left, doesn't have the spike, gets the initial pick off on Smile, is going to invest a showstopper himself, but Feisty just knifes him down in the face. They almost hugged, if I do say so myself, and that is 11 rounds on the board for Butler.
A little duelist love coming in at the end there. Jet and Raze pulling out both of their ultimates, and it's Jet who comes out on top. Both showstoppers used in that round, and if I do say so myself, Pango might have been a little bit ambitious to pull out the showstopper in a 1v3 there, but, you know, can't fault him for trying. Can't fault him too much in any case, as Siena are feeling this map slip away from them a little bit. Butler 2 rounds away. Once again, aggression on A short. Janiro, the tale as old as time in this series so far. Icy's pushing up forward. They're just running down. Butler has no other gear but last gear. Icy coming in. Odin finds 2, and there's Firsty to find more as Siena's eco around here. Their half buy gets completely decimated. Forced to finish it off. And yeah, Butler are just running at them at this point, and they're pretty evenly matched. You know, they're playing with some disrespect that you might not expect in a match this close.
Definitely did not expect them to be pushing out so aggressively, but again, you know that the other team is on a worse buy. When they play an eco, they're either going to wait for you to push out. That's usually what you see teams do when they're on an eco. They wait for the opposing team to push out, or they're just going to 5-man rush onto a specific site. And Butler took the gamble. They said, you know what, they might actually be trying to 5-stack and play it slowly. So what we're going to do is we're going to 5-man rush them. And that's exactly what they did. It worked out in their favor. And so far, great performance coming through from Butler in terms of head clicking and countering the tactics that we're seeing coming through from Siena. Siena not that great at adapting accordingly so far, but the Hunter Spirit is being invested. They're looking for initial picks. They're not going to get one. The Hunter Empress also being invested from the side of Loki, but he's onto that B side, looking to clear as much space as possible, where the rest of his team is looking to get the attention from all of the other members onto A. It's a bit more of a split this time, and if Firsty gets the first on Pango, 46 HP left, but that should not matter too much. The man with a dream, and as Loki rotates around the corner, Force already picks off another one of his teammates, but Loki is going to create so much pressure onto B. His team is going to be able to get onto their uncontested, gonna go into their... He's literally going to go into their base, and he's holding that angle, waiting for them. A couple of players taking that teleporter, and Loki doesn't get the pick off Odin, doesn't get the heal coming through, but there's some interesting action happening in the teleporter.
Discipline. Oh, something going on over there. No, they find their way out. They find their way out of the maze. OCU now holding an off angle. Tries to find one. Does get a headshot in the end, but it's going to be Gray remaining. Has to have the 1v2. Goes for the res. There we go. Low-key, the designated fragger is going to be brought back up, but the defuse is coming in. The stick, it's gotten to half. They have to push this in fast. Forsey goes for one. Firsty finds him. Low-key is alone. Low-key trying to get the 1 versus 1 against a full HP. Raze here goes for another one, and Low-key with a clutch keeps them in the game for one more round. Siena, it was down to a knife's edge, but they managed to stick it out, and the res pays off in the end.
And this is exactly why Pro shouldn't fake. I am like 95% sure that if Butler stuck it, they would have been able to actually get that pick off, because the Gray had to go so far for that res. I was genuinely questioning that play, as him going for that res could have literally cost them the map, but I guess Siena wants to play another round. I guess Butler wants to play another round. I guess they want to give Siena some false hope. They might, that was very interesting to say the least, coming through here from the teams. But you live and you learn, and Butler has learned that they should not be faking anymore. A couple of shots coming through, but nothing major. But as I say that, the pain shots from Force pick up at 2K. Cosmic Wall is now going to be invested as well as the Hunter's Fury. Gray taking out Odin is a huge numbers advantage from the side of Butler. They managed to take out two, whereas Siena only took out one. A lot of util being thrown their way as well, and so far Butlers are looking pretty strong at holding on to this B side as all members are there, whereas Siena is still looking for a play. They going through that smoke, 2 Nebulas being put down and taken back, but they spot them out right away. Firstly getting the pick on Ocio, gets a second on Nikki, and now it's one player remaining. It's Gray only by himself, and he doesn't have the rest, and Frosty finishing off this game, taking him out, and that is a win for Butler University on the board.
There we go. Butler finds it in the end. A very exciting map, I have to say. It was Siena definitely pulling out some interesting stuff. In particular, that last round was very exciting. But Butler, the W key never failed them, Janiro. All game long, they never let go. They never released the aggression. They never gave them a moment to breathe. And it was Butler to take the end of that first map. So great work there. I've got to shout out Firsty and Icy in particular, who were just in their face the entire game long. And, maybe this style could be punished a little bit. We saw in the group stage that Blue Hens did manage to take out Butler Club in OT. So Butler Club are definitely not infallible. This strategy is not completely foolproof, but it definitely does have some merit, we can see. So we will return in just a moment for map 2. We're going on to Icebox next, right after this.